Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon and good evening based on where you are. Very welcome to today's webinar. In today's webinar, we are going to cover the key insights into wholesale and distribution industry. We are going to talk about the key performance indicators that allow you to measure business performance. In this webinar, we are going to take you through various business intelligence dashboards that will allow you to take a deeper look into your business performance and accordingly take business decisive decisions. Before we go further, I would like to mention few housekeeping things. You have a chat box available to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to input your questions in the chat box provided. We will try to answer all the questions before the end of this webinar. So let's start with our company profile. We at Business Solutions, we are based out of Atlanta, US, and we provide business application solutions to our customers into ERP, business intelligence and analytics, BPM, big data, and other domains. We have been working with a lot of companies, right from small startups to bigger enterprises. We have helped them with consulting solutions, implementations, customization, and I've also engaged with them on maintenance and support. The major industry vertical we serve to are manufacturing, wholesale and distribution, telecom, and auto parts industry. I would also like to highlight on our analytics and big data expertise. We have worked with many clients where we have helped them setting up the big data infrastructure like on Hadoop, and have also helped them setting up advanced analytics on their Hadoop platform. And the reporting has been done on various tools like Tableau, Power BI, Spago BI, so on and so forth. We have a big capability in analytics and business intelligence domain, and we have been helping our clients to achieve their needs on business intelligence and analytics. Now let's meet the presenters. My name is Ankur Anvekar, and I am the project manager of business intelligence analytics practice in Business Solutions. I have my colleague Parth Sood with me. He is the Chief Data Scientist with Business Solutions, and both of us will take you through various dashboards that will highlight key performance indicators and key insights for wholesale and distribution industry. Now let's talk about the wholesale and distribution industry as a whole. There are many challenges wholesale and distribution industry is facing. The key has been in handling the productivity, improving it, and reducing the inventory levels. When we talk about supply chain, one major factor that comes out is the visibility. Are you able to look at the various aspects of the supply chain, right from the procurement to the product level information, inventory at different warehouses, so on and so forth. Enhancing the inventory planning has been a key challenge and major roadblock for a lot of executives who are into the purchasing department, so that you have enough sufficient stock at the right time and the right place to meet the customer demand. You also need to maintain a certain cash flow so that you don't overstock and you don't understock as well. You need to keep on running the cycle of buying the products and selling them to your customers without having to face any shortage of supply. The next key challenge that industry is facing is the response to the demand and supply. The industry is moving fast, the consumers are more intelligent, they have various ways to buy the product, competition is heating up. Are we proactive enough to make sure that we understand the pulse of the customer? Are we proactive to understand what are going to be the next products that are going to be bought by the customers? We need to understand the pulse in advance and accordingly react to it. Another challenge that industry is facing is the explosion of data. A lot of data is generating through various channels, like through e-commerce, through social media, and your existing ERP or CRM systems. We have also seen data generating from sensors through IoT applications. Now the question becomes is, how do you manage this humongous amount of data? There are open source big data platforms like Hadoop, where you can manage unstructured and structured data, massage them, and make sure they are ready to give you the right insights using a business intelligence tool, a reporting tool. Now, in this webinar, as I said earlier, we are going to focus on key performance indicators that help you to identify how my business is running. So I'll begin with the customer retention and churn rate. This is the one of the most important parameters when you're looking at the customer side of the business. Are you retaining the right customers? Are you making sure that the loyal customers are given offers on regular basis? Or are we just focusing on increasing our customer bandwidth? Another key performance indicator is the inventory turn. How many times inventory is sold and replenished over a period of time? That gives me a visibility of how my inventory is flowing. If the ratio is too high, I may be stocking a lot, or maybe or ratio is too low, I may be selling them, not having enough stock, and there is a demand in the market. Lost opportunities. We need to also understand that wholesale distribution market is a fast-paced market. One day a customer will come to you and ask for a product. If you do not have it in stock, you will go to another distributor. You need to tap the right moment and make sure that you are high on service levels, and that is where fill rate comes into picture, where you maintain the high fill rate and you like to satisfy the customers that is asking you to provide a product through various channels like direct selling or through e-commerce. There are many efficiency ratios that we look at and can judge how the business is performing, whether the health is in great shape or in poor shape. One of the main ratios that we look into is gross margin return on investment ratio. That helps us to understand what is my gross margin on the every penny I'm spending on the inventory side of it. Last but not the least is the spend. When we talk about spend, we look at two categories: spending on buying the product at purchasing level and spend at operational level, the expenses. We are going to talk about all these key performance indicators in the coming dashboards and take you through each of them. For the benefit of everyone, we just want to lay out the example that we are taking for this particular demonstration. We are going to talk about a wholesale firm that has presence in 15 locations in United States, and they sell products in different categories like technology, office supplies, and furniture. We are going to focus on three aspects of their business: supply chain, customers, and spend. Now let's go into the business intelligence solution, where we will be able to see these aspects in detail. So what you see in front of your screen is basically a dashboard created in a tool like, in our case, we are using Tableau, which allows you to get into the details and have a visualization of the various aspects of your business. We are going to first talk about supply chain. and then we'll talk about the customer aspects and the spend analysis. When we talk about supply chain, we look at, the first thing that we would like to look at is the sales performance. How am I performing in terms of the sales? So for this particular example, you can see that trend has been up and down over a period of time. We have taken a data of 1 year from January to December, where there is a high volume period during month of May and low volume period during April. The high volume could be because of seasonality or a promotion. Similarly, I can also look at the sale trends by the different channels of sale that I have. I sell through retail branches, direct sale, through my distributors, and also an e-commerce channel. I can further drill down into the online segment and see what has been the trend. So online business contributes 25% of the total sale of my entire business, and it is sold into various categories of the products that I sell. The different product categories that I sell into is technology, furniture, and office supplies. Now, as you see, when I clicked on online pie, I am able to see the subsequent trend for the online business. Subsequently, I am also able to see sales by the locations where my stores or warehouses are located. I can further drill down and look at category sale. Like for example, I would like to see the category sale and the technology and what has been the trend. Seems there was a huge dip during month of March and has been same during month of December. Now, these visualizations allow me to ask questions. Why is it happening? Do we need to do something more where we can have a consistent sales performance? I can also go back to specific locations and look at the health of the business. Let's say if I select California, I will be able to see the subsequent visualizations changing to according to my selection. I can clearly make out that copiers have been the most selling product in all the categories together. If I deselect online business, I will be able to see the overall business performance through various channels for California state. Now let's move on to the purchase side of it. Now I have seen my sales performance. Now I need to measure, am I purchasing in the right pattern or not, depending on how much am I selling. The first chart that you see on your screen allows me to look at the trend month on month with purchase and sales comparison. You can clearly make out that you have to make sure that you have enough stock in place so that you can sell and you have high service levels while selling to customer. But there are a few insights that I can gather from this particular chart. One being the month of February, where the purchase has been the sale has been good enough, but I did not purchase enough, even though I was able to sell enough, right? So maybe I was having the inventory at right level. Another insight I can gather from this particular chart is the month of April, where I had bought more, but my sale had been very low. What was the reason behind it? I may want to ask my sales manager the reason why did we have that kind of issue, or maybe the purchasing manager, that why did we buy so many products just before on the same month where we were not selling. He might come back to you and say that we were preparing for the high season, which was May, which makes sense. That May season has always been a high season for you, so that's why we had to make sure that we buy enough stock to make sure to sell as much as possible. Now let's look at the other parameters where I can look at individual suppliers and the profitability that I'm getting from them. On the x-axis is the purchase that I've made by each vendor, and on the y-axis I have sales. The red bubbles that you see on your screen are the ones where I have not been able to meet my profitability. I may want to call up PKR Incorporation and ask them and inquire about if we can negotiate the terms and try to able to come to a conclusion where I am able to maintain my profitability. Another visualization is where I am going to look at the sale and the purchase and inventory, all three dimensions together. On x-axis I have the inventory. On the y-axis I have the purchase. Now there are few suppliers like this one where I did not have enough sale, but I have had a lot of purchase. What could be the reason behind it? I may want to call up the vendor and ask, or maybe ask my salesperson that are we not selling enough? What is the reason? So visualizations like these help you to ask more questions, get into the details and make right decisions. Let's move on to the next level, which is the inventory side of supply chain. Very important factor. On day-to-day basis, you would want to track your inventory levels. You do not want to stock more than what you want, and you do not want to stock less. We have few visualizations over here which tells you that what has been the inventory at various categories. The first chart that you see on your screen tells you the percentage of total inventory that you have by category, and is it above average or not. When I say above average, I have an average line drawn over here which tells me that what is the average inventory on hand value that I have at this point of time across all product lines, but two of them are above average, right? Similarly, I can compare it with the subcategories that I have. Like for example, the copier, chairs, machines, tables are above average inventory value that I hold for each of the product categories. If I further want to drill down into specific category, I can just click on this particular bar and it will allow me to look at the visualizations respective to its details. Now again, I would like to see the visualization that I have in the map helps me to understand what are the level of inventory that I have in these locations. On the right side, that you are, means that you are low on inventory, and if you are on the bluer side, then you have higher inventory. I would like to have a mix of both. Like for example, Washington is a place where I have on hand which is not too low, not too high, could be an optimum level. I have a lot of inventory stocked at Colorado. Am I overstocking it? I may want to know the sales. We have already seen the sales earlier, right? We can look at the sales and compare it with how much am I selling, and do I still need to stock this much. Now let's move on to the vendor performance. Now we have seen the sales, we have seen the purchase, we have seen the inventory. We'll go to the vendor performance. But when I'm talking about the vendors, one of the important factors that I measure my vendor performance is the delivery, whether the delivery is on time or not, right? So the lead time comes into picture. Lead time is basically the time from the order I place till the time the product is delivered at my doorstep. OTP is on-time performance of the vendors, right? So that this particular trend allows me to see that what has been the committed lead time to me by the vendor and what has been the actual lead time. When I go and talk to a vendor and tell them that I have few requirements, I would like to purchase few products from you. What will be the lead time that you think you will be able to deliver the product by? The vendor may come up with some number, and then you say, okay, that is the commitment. So in our case, we have shown it as system lead time, the commitment given by the vendor, and the actual lead time is the actual time it took from the order placed till the time it was delivered at the doorstep. Now you can clearly see that there is a gap between what was committed and what has happened. You may want to renegotiate terms with your vendor and tell them that you are going to put some penalty if you are not able to meet the service levels. Similarly, this visualization allows me to see the top vendors who have been on time. Okay, these are great vendors. They are able to provide the product within the committed lead time period. Maybe I would want to buy more products from them. Similarly, I am looking at the bottom 20 vendors. I may want to not to renew the contract with them and buy the products which are from the top 20 vendors instead. So this visibility helps me to renegotiate terms with my vendors, and also that leads to reducing the cost incurred. The other visualizations give you the lead time and the on-time performance ratio by each of the vendors, right? So you can get into the details. You came to office, you want to talk to a specific vendor, but you just pull up this report, take that specific vendor, let's say SEA GmbH, and I pick this particular vendor. I tell them that the performance has been really poor. You have committed to deliver this particular product by 10 days, but you are just taking 36 days, right? So basically, you can look at these ratios and talk to your vendors, renegotiate terms, and save cost. Now, I have seen the sale performance, the purchase side of my business, inventory levels. I have also viewed the vendor performance. Now, I would like to get a complete 360 view of my business. The executive view allows me to do that. In this executive view, we have clearly mentioned the different KPIs that will be able to help me understand how much I earning in terms of the profit margin, what is the health of my inventory, what is the fill rate, how many of them are old customers versus new customers. You always want to have a balance between the old and new. You would want to retain your old customers and capture new customers. This dashboard allows me to get into the details of each category. Let's say my focus is on the office supplies. I select office supplies and get the KPIs accordingly. Similarly, I can go at specific location level and see what are the KPIs for that location. For example, Texas, profit margin is below 20%, which is a benchmark for me. So I would want to get into the details and ask few more questions to the team working in Texas to make sure that we meet our profit margin of 20%. So now we have covered the supply chain side of dashboards, where we have discussed sale performance, this purchase performance. We have seen the inventory levels. We have looked at the performance by vendors. Now we have a 360 view of the entire business value chain on the executive view. Now we will move on to the customer side of business. We are going to focus on what are the KPIs when we are looking at customer side. I will invite my colleague Parth Sood to take you through the insights which are pertaining to customer side of the business, and then we'll move on to the spend analysis. So I will ask Parth to take over.
Hi, I'm Parth Sood. I'll take you through the customer analysis segment. So customer analysis, it can help you identify drivers of buyer trust, which is basically a way to say improving customer experience. Now, from all the insights that you can derive from customer analysis, the actions that you take based on these insights can be distilled to two categories, which is basically your action will either mitigate buyer attrition or your action will otherwise retain customers. Now, through data sources such as your transaction data, your feedback data, and other such data such as customer profitability, their preferences and their buyer behavior, we can take these actions. So we'll begin by looking at how the returns can be tracked in your transaction data. So a return is every time a customer returns an item that they purchase from you. The reason could be that it's either damaged or defective, or maybe the delivery was too late and the customer doesn't require it anymore, or maybe it's just simply buyer's remorse. Now the first and most important KPI, the key performance index here, is return rate. Return rate is the number of returns that a customer or your entire customer body had divided by the total number of transactions. So you can see it goes up and down based on how well you have performed in terms of meeting customers' expectations with your products. The orange line here represents the reimbursement amount that you had to incur in returning when the customers return these products. We can drill down further to identify where the returns are concentrated. Say for in this example, we see that furnitures have had the biggest share of returns, and you can even see, you can drill down further into subcategories of furniture and see whether, and you notice that chairs have had the maximum number of returns. Clearly the insight here is that customers are most picky about returning furniture. You can see the top picky buyers. We decide on picky buyers based on their average return rate across the year, and we see Theresa May, Sylvia Flouston having the highest average rate. So this could prove to be useful in marketing efforts where customers are most likely to churn can be identified. We can also determine customers who are most likely to remain loyal. Moving on to the ratings dashboard, here we can track, so most retailers have a rating format. In this example, our retailer has a 5-star rating system. Our customer here, the retailer here has a 5-star rating system as the feedback format. So the average rating can be tracked as an approximate of the quality of customer experience the customers have had while purchasing items from this retailer. The distribution of the retailers can give a better picture of the entire scenario. Based on the customer level average rating, we can identify the kind of experience that they've had. We can even filter down to location level, like Ankur showed you, to see how the customers have been how their experience has been while purchasing from these retailers. This kind of analysis could help you targeting customers like satisfied customers, which present an opportunity to upsell or cross-sell other products, or dissatisfied customers to whom we can offer promotional offers or discounts. Moving on to their profitability, highly profitable customers could be identified here, and so here we have a scatter plot which shows the profitability of each customer versus the amount that they've purchased. So identifying customers who bring most of the business it's imperative to maximizing your revenue. You can analyze their purchasing patterns and try to shape your marketing efforts so as to make that behavior, to induce that behavior in all your other buyers. So like I said, this scatter plot can help you identify most profitable customers and drill down further into their behavior. And here we can see that the customer that's most profitable are actually from the technology category. Therefore, technology also is like the way to make the most profit. We can identify the top buyers based on category, and this can help us again reshape marketing efforts, and it can help us tailor customized promotional offers, thereby attracting more customers and eventually leading to more revenue. Back to Ankur.
Thank you, Parth. So we have seen here that in this particular dashboard, there are various views where we can look into customer details, their buying behavior, buying pattern, and accordingly take decisions. The most profitable customers are usually the one that buy frequently from you and also have been loyal. As Parth mentioned, that we can tap into the unsatisfied customer by offering them some promotional offers, and also can further cross-sell or upsell the highly satisfied customer with the means of promotions and offers. Okay, now the third aspect of the industry that we are going to cover is on the supply side of it. Sorry, spend side of it. So as I said earlier at the beginning of the presentation, we basically look at two aspects when we are looking at the expenses, the spend. Expenses or spend done at purchase level, and other one is at the operational level. We have already covered the purchase side of the business through supply chain, so we'll look at the operation side of business and we'll focus on the spend analysis on the operations. So what you see on your screen is basically the spending done by various departments within your organization at various categories over a period of time. The first number that comes into your mind is 99%. So 99% is the number of the budget utilization that was overall done in the organization. So if the budget was allocated like $100, the company has spent 99% of it. And further, you see a distribution of spend by certain categories. Travel being the place where the budget was overutilized. Looking at the dashboard, we can clearly make out that the budget allocated was overspent in few months like June and March. Maybe we would like to see where exactly we have spent more than what was allocated. On the left side of the screen on this dashboard, we have various filters by which we can further drill down. Let's look at travel. Travel is one category where most of the spend happens on hotel stay, on airfares. So over a period of time, you can clearly make out that the budget allocated was not enough, and that's why we see overutilization of it. There could be many reasons of it. Due to the end of quarter, sales team want to achieve their targets and they would want to chase out the customers, so they usually prefer going and meeting them in person. That would have led to over expense on travel side. Now let's look at the breakdown by the expense types. We will move on to the next dashboard. So here I can clearly see by the expense categories, operations is one category where I have spent the most. The utilization is 43% of total. We can also see the average spend by employees in various departments and the expense categories. Marketing and operations, marketing department with expense in operations comes out to be the highly spent place. We can look at specific departments and get into the details. So I can select department type from the filter and look at the details by the different expense types. This clearly helps me to understand that most of the expenditure has happened in marketing and internal cross charge. When we are talking about marketing team spends a lot of budget on events, on road shows, on buying space, ad space, we may want to look at those aspects and see if it is justifiable or whether the budget allocated was not good enough. We can further look into each of the expense categories and look at the breakdown. As I said earlier in my first dashboard, travel contributes to most of the utilization. Where have we spent most of our money? And clearly airfare and hotels are the ones where we have spent the most. Maybe it gives us an opportunity to look back in the way we spend our money. Maybe we can suggest our sales folks and other staff in our organization to avoid travel and get into in the habit of doing teleconferencing, screen sharing and other tools that are available with us that will reduce the spend on travel. Now let's further get into the details, the lowest level possible, where I am going to take you through the spend by employees. We can look at the specific departments. Marketing being one department where there has been most of the expenses incurred. Elizabeth Custodio had actually spent 60% of the total budget allocated. So we may want to talk to Elizabeth and understand why did she spend so much. Maybe she had enough reason to justify the spending. So these dashboards allow us to get into the details, talk to the various stakeholders and try to curb the cost. Now we have few important questions to answer. We clearly were able to make out that the marketing team was not given enough budget and they had spent a lot of money more than what the budget was allocated. Maybe we want to talk to the marketing head, understand the requirements, come up with an amicable solution and try to bring this down, or maybe increase the budget. Another insight that we get is the sales department, where the utilization is really low compared to what budget was allocated. Was there a case where sales team was using marketing team's budget or vice versa? Yes, there could be a case. That's why we see a huge disparity. Similarly, as I said earlier, we need to look at the budget allocated to travel, educate our team, our employees to use technology like conferencing, screen share, virtual presence to cut down the travel cost. So the idea of sharing these dashboards with you folks is basically these dashboards bring out the insights and you further question them, which help you to make an idea of how the spends are happening and can I curb them down. So now we have covered the three aspects of wholesale distribution industry, where we have covered the KPIs that we discussed at the beginning of the webinar. Now let's look at what we covered so far. So we covered that business intelligence and analytics solution, like the one that we were using, gives you a visibility of your supply chain, your customers, your inventory health, your sales performance, and the spends that you make across the organization. The visualizations that we showed did help us in identifying the hidden insights. Compared to if we were looking at a tabular report, we would have not been able to easily identify those. But a visualization using the business intelligence tool helps us to identify them easily. If we adopt visualization and business intelligence solution across our organization and frequently work with them, I'm pretty sure we will be able to make the individual ad hoc query of the data obsolete someday. That will really help in saving the cost and time. it takes days to come up with few insights which you may want to understand when you actually required it. But a better business intelligence solution and visualization helps you to get those insights within few minutes. As we covered in one of the dashboards, executives now can easily have a 360 view of the entire business performance and can take data-driven decisions accordingly. And that can be done rapidly. Now, time for Q&A. Okay, let me just see if we have questions. Okay, so we have one question. The graph which we have shown, can it work with my ERP? We use Dynamics. How can I plug in these dashboards with it? Yes, certainly. The dashboards that we have built can be easily integrated with your ERP system. We need to connect to the data source and start working on building the data sets that can help you to understand the insights out of it. There are few plugins that are available that can help you in integrating it with your ERP system. So basically you don't have to get into another tool to look at them. So we have another question where the attendee has asked, my data resides in various sources. How do I make a report that includes the information that I need? Very good question. Yes, as we covered in our initial slides, we are facing a challenge in terms of managing the data. We come across various channels that churns out data in and out all the time. Conventionally, we have been using organization solutions like enterprise solutions like ERP, CRM to get the data and then feed into the reporting solution. But now you have data coming in from various channels and sources. What can be done is basically we can come up with build a data warehouse. That data warehouse can be on a big data platform or any other relational database, from where we connect to various data sources and try to bring in the data that is relevant to us into the data warehouse. Once the data is in place, we can connect to the data warehouse and start using the reports and build our reports and share with the organization. Another way is we have inbuilt capability within the BI solutions today where we can blend the data from various sources and create a single view. Reporting tools like Tableau, Power BI allows you to blend data sources into a single place and build a report out of it. Okay, let's look at another question. Okay, so next question we have is, can I do advanced calculations like forecasting using statistical modeling in my reports? Yes, you can. The answer is yes, you can easily do it. The reporting solutions like Tableau, Power BI, Click, Spotfire, they allow you to integrate the reporting tool with the solutions like R, where you can create statistical programs, statistical algorithms, and start churning out the reports. So integration is available where you can do advanced calculations. You can use algorithm built on R and use in reporting solution like Tableau, Power BI to build your reports. So we have another question here. You talked about customer churn. How can you predict whether a customer will churn?
Well, on how you can predict a customer churning is by having these algorithms that forecast the buying forecast how much a buyer will buy based on his past transactional data, and that's a good indicator. That's a way to compute how buyers will churn. Also, you can identify patterns in their returns and similar other customers who might have churned earlier. And if certain buyers show signals similar to those churned customers, there's a high indicator. That's a good indicator of whether a buyer will churn.
Okay, so we have another question. Does the expense breakup need to be in my accounting package? Can this tool use budgets and expense maintained in Excel files? Certainly, we can do that, and that is where we can use data blending, where we can connect to your accounting source and also the budgets that are maintained in Excel files. You can combine them together and actually calculate the expenses made against the budget allocated. Data blending allows you to do that, and it can be achieved within few minutes. Okay, so we are almost about to end our webinar. We have another question and then we will wrap up the webinar. So the question is, can I get the live data in the reports? Yes, certainly you can get the data which is currently at your source systems, be it your ERP or CRM or any other source that you have. If you are feeding the live data into those systems, and those systems are connected to a reporting solution, you will be able to get the live data from the data sources. Okay, so we will wrap up this webinar, and we will continue working on other industries where we will try to bring more insights, come up with new dashboards that can really help you to understand and take decisions according to what the data has been. You can reach out to us at sales@businesssolutions.com. We have offices in US, in UAE, and in India. You can reach out to us on our email IDs. You can directly give us a call on the phone numbers mentioned. And please visit our sites. We have tons of information. We have a lot of blogs. We have articles published on a regular basis that will help you to be updated on the latest technology trends. I hope you like this webinar, and you will. We are going to put a video of the entire webinar on our YouTube channel. Visit youtube.com/businesssolutions and you will be able to see the webinar. Please do share it with your network, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.